So, according to a Google definition, an unequally yoked team has one stronger ox and one weaker, and one taller and one shorter. The weaker or shorter ox would walk more slowly than the taller, stronger one, causing the load to go around in circles. When oxen are unequally yoked, they cannot perform the task set before them. Now, I just sit there for a second to say, you know, are we spinning around in circles because we are unequally yoked? This is how society has shown up for one another?
We had this conversation. I was like, we have a lot of conversations.
I bet you do.
But I constantly am like, yo, I'm tired of showing up for people who won't even show up for themselves, right? It's a heavy load.
It's very heavy.
Also, as someone who is an empath, it's very draining.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I'm doing all of these things, I'm coming through, but you are literally not even coming through for yourself. I'm now carrying your load, my load, and I'm not even paying attention to my load. Now my back is breaking.
Now, I feel like we're all kind of progressing and we're all on a journey, right? So when we judge each other's journey and be like, yo, Carrie, you're kind of slacking behind. I don't have time for that right now. Like I'm working on being a better me. What happens, like the prince, what happens to Carrie in that situation? Is anyone looking at who's being left behind?
I mean, Carrie's gonna be fine. But that is so funny. That comes from a place of like, you cannot help anybody if you have not helped yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the time, I have been couples where it's like, I feel like I'm a little bit more mature in this one area, so I'm going to do the work that you haven't done yet to make sure that you're okay. And that's not how it works. Like if they don't actually grow and mature themselves, you are still not in a partnership.
I believe a lot of it has to do with intention, because the fact of the matter is, we've all been through trauma. We all have had incidences that have molded and shaped us. And I think it's very critical when you meet somebody, it's who are they?
Yes.
Not what they do.
Right.
That's important, but in my opinion, it shouldn't be the main focus. Who are you as a person? And I think a lot of our times we spend so much time trying to figure out not only who we are, but who it is that they are. And if you feel that that person is worth it to you, it's not necessarily what you're going to get out of the situation or what is the end result. It is the intention that matters. So if I were to meet hypothetically a person and I really cared for this person, I want to see them be able to achieve whatever it is, as long as they are a good person and striving towards what they want. And they're going to stumble, they're going to hurt, they're going to be in pain. But then I have to be there to be supportive, as hopefully they'll be supportive of me, because not every day is going to be sunshine. There's going to be rain, there's going to be issues.
Definitely.
And can you meet someone and be yoked with somebody that is going to be willing to carry your burden? There's going to be times you're going to need help. You're going to be sick. Well, when you're sick, you can't get up and do some of the things you like to do, like make yourself something to eat and do those other kind of things.
That's interesting, because in those cases, then you become like the unequally yoked. And so when one partner is sick and you've committed in this monogamous relationship and all the pressure is on you to make it all work and fill the gaps, then you become like the oxen going around in circles.
Well, here's the thing. If you were equally yoked or trying to pour into each other at the same time, when one person falls, you're like, I know what you're like. I know where I met you at.
Right.
So I can actually help you get back there, because this is a moment in time where we're wavering. We can build each other back to get further. This is temporary. But when the person is not at that level and you start doing it, it becomes codependency, right?
Yes.
I'm cool with you pouring into me now because I ain't got to do it no more. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a
Good point.
I
Good
think
point.
for me, it's a fine line.
Yeah.
I think that there are going to be moments. We've been together 19 years.
Okay.
And there have been moments,
We have to
right?
clap for that.
Thank you.
Let's clap for the
Thank you.
19
I ain't gonna
years.
slide past that. We're gonna celebrate.
Right,
That's
we gotta
right.
celebrate because you
Got
know
some
I was getting
bottles back
wrong.
here.
I was getting it wrong for a long time. I had us down at like 17
getting
years.
it wrong?
I was getting it wrong. I had us
I'm on
down
your
at
side, I'm on
17
your
years. I had us down at 17 years, but it's actually 19, and I want to celebrate
dope.
that, right?
Yeah.
I celebrated it's been the 19 because there have been many of those years where it was unequally yoked because of our issues and trauma. We've had to navigate those challenges in the space. And whilst we were having, I was hearing all the wisdom that's here, I was thinking about the very inceptions of when, even before he showed up in my life. And I remember, well, he mentioned, our meeting being interesting. And for me, at the time, all men were cooties, had cooties in my thing. Like, I was like, men are off limits to me because I was coming out of a very bad divorce and the situation was terrible at the time. So I was like, men are so like, ooh, right?
Yeah. Ew
and I
was the word.
Ew.
Okay.
So
Ew.
I remember I was driving my car, coming back from work. I had 4 children at the time. I'd just gotten off the phone with my lawyer. And
You had 4 children.
I have
at
4
the
children
time?
of my own.
I'm back there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. But yeah, I was
Wow.
picking up kids from daycare and, doing the single mom thing. And I just got off the phone with my lawyer. And it was not a great conversation, but I remember feeling powerful in that moment. It was weird. I was rolling out my car, feeling good. And
What song was on the radio?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember what the song
Oh no,
was.
I would have fully remembered the song.
Well, it probably was though, because I was rolling out, right?
Yeah.
So
Especially because you kind of leaned back and
Yeah.
did this
Yeah,
kind of thing.
right?
That's
Right?
definitely hip hop.
Well, it was. No doubt, it was, because I know I was feeling it, right? And I remember hanging up that phone, and I remember going, as I was driving, I go, God, I am good. I am so good. And I don't need no man. But if you are so inclined, I know I am so good that I probably could welcome a man into my life. So I remember, going, before I ask for it though, I'm gonna put together a list.
Okay.
I don't want just any man. I'm gonna have a perfect man.
Okay.
You don't have to deliver
No
right
pressure.
now. No pressure. But I want my perfect man. And so I went home because we were in traffic. I just settled the kids in. And I remember deciding to write this list. And for me, that moment of claiming my power, I'll tell the rest of how that worked out. But that list was an impetus for me to be able to look and search for what my truth was. And another part that came out of when I was kind of doing this, bargaining with God,
Yes.
I had said, this time, I am not actually looking for my partner to be, or my love to be about loving. About being loved.
Okay.
It was actually about being in the experience of what the fullness of love was going to bring me. So it became this space of just wanting to just be in the presence of love in its fullness without the measures that we put on it.
Yeah, but it feels like another backdoor fairy tale.
It was at the time.
No,
And
yeah.
that's why I'm mentioning the story.
Yeah,
because
right?
what we deal with is it brought me love.
Praise God.
Right? It brought me love.
Amen.
But what it did not do is give me the context to which I could encompass this love. And what that was learning the journey, because there are actually constructs that we can create. We make love feels very out there, and being yoked to somebody feels out there. But there are literally tools that you can offer yourself and your partner that anchor it in a way that makes it fallible. And they're easy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
and being very clear in your
Talk it out.
communication.
Absolutely.
Asking those specific things build relationship, and that's what we are doing. Like I think-
Clearly.
I didn't hear a fairy tale when she spoke. I
Yeah.
heard manifestation, I heard
Yeah.
visualization, I heard
Absolutely.
speaking things into
Intentionality.
existence.
Well, it's kind of like, I had written a passage in business, and I said, Confucius' journey of 40 miles begins with one step, and I believe it begins with one thought. You have to know why you're walking 40 miles.
Yes.
And for me, I remember the fellow that said, you got to meet this person. You're really gonna. He was a client of mine, and I was like, okay, tell me about her. Like, tell me what's gonna go on here, man, because I've been around the block once or twice.
You felt like been there, done that.
I don't want to. Talk to me and tell me what's going on. So when we found. For Wells, but when we had an opportunity to, when I went out, I said, okay, and I had written her because I wanted to see what her mind was.
Yes.
And later on, I guess we can get into it, but when we were in our shroud of darkness, excuse the expression, but when we were speaking to our counselor at the time, she had said to me, Omari, what do you want? And because our first date lasted about 5 hours, we just went to a dessert shop and we spoken
So
for 5
cute.
hours.
I love it.
And
Yes.
I had said that I want those 5 hours back.
Oh, wow.
So that to me.
Oh, you mean because you wanted to have it again?
Yeah, I wanted.
Yes.
I wanted to have the.
Not like you lost it.
I wanted to have the ability
to relive it.
Even though we were going, because that's what her mind is what gave me the greatest impression of who she was and her compassion, who she was as a person.
Yeah.
And once again, it came through language, and I was able to really, I wanted somebody who could massage my intellect, And so in that time, so when we went through our issue, that was always the hallmark moment, our first interaction is what endeared me to her.
I like it.
And interestingly enough, that has always been what's drawn me back to him as well. We always came back, and we didn't know. But
So
we
when
were
things
both,
broke down.
when things broke down, and we were like, we were calling them divorce lawyers. That was what us just even clarifying that. We spoke on it, and I remember being amazed that he remembered it just like I did, and
Interesting.
that was what allowed us, I think, to get back to where we are now.
It sounds like you guys had some tumultuous times. It wasn't all fairy tale.
And this is what I also want to point out. It's been 19 years, but those 19 years haven't all been great years. We've had some things. There have been moments where, because I don't look good in orange. Like I write about this, there have been, I love you. I do.
He's laughing like she actually looks amazing in orange, but I'm just gonna leave this alone.
She doesn't want to end up in
Yeah,
jail.
you know what I mean? Pumpkin orange is not my color.
It's those prayers like, God, if this is not meant to be, can you just take his life now? So I take his life now.
Yeah,
I'm
there's-
over this.
Or God, please don't make me go in and pick up that knife because I could do
Right,
that. Or
yeah.
I know, there's been those moments. There have been. I love you, but I'm just.
So basically, she's not allowed to watch How to Get Away with Murder.
Or Orange is the New Black.
Oh, right.